This video is sponsored by NordVPN. The Ip Man movies, starring Donnie Yen, are some of the most successful kung fu films of the past 20 years. 4 installments of exhilarating action, 1 spin-off featuring Dave Bautista. Naturally, with success comes copycats. Many other Ip Man movies were made trying to capitalize on the name recognition. Now, full transparency, I went into this video idea nice and pissed off. I mean, these are Ipsploitation movies. It's gonna suck, right? Then I watched the movies and they are kinda good. I know, is that even legal? These films are, of course, no replacement for the Donnie Yen blockbusters. But that's the thing, they don't try to be. Within their limitations and constraints, each film shines in its own unique way. So, instead of getting angry, let's take a look at 3 of these movies, check out how each film differs from the main series, and why they may be worth a watch. First up, The Legend is Born, Ip Man, released in 2010. No, it's not a prequel, it wasn't even from the same production company. Though it stars some of the same actors, none of them are playing the same roles as the main series. It is as close to a cash-in as you can get. The film tells the story of Ip Man's life in Wing Chun school. The main plot involves a love triangle between him, his childhood friend, and his adoptive brother. Other side plots include Ip Man learning Wing Chun from 2 different masters, to the disapproval of his elders. All of it is set against the backdrop of an impending Japanese invasion, but the story is more about interpersonal drama, not so much about national pride. It's a very wuxia-esque plot, which is already different from the Donnie Yen series. From the title's questionable font choices, you can tell this movie has some budgetary constraints. Kung fu movies are expensive. Take this classic scene for example. Even in the chaos of a 1-on-10 fight, Ip Man is always backlit. Even when the camera moves to the opposite side, the light still silhouettes him. That means between every shot, the lights have to be adjusted. The dramatic close-up requires a lens change. Moving shots like this require a jib. Stunt shots like this one require many tries for the dude to land in just the right position. A film needs time and money to achieve a cinematic result. Legend is Born has no money for any of that, resulting in fights that have flat lightings and mostly flat angles, which require minimal equipment and lighting setups. People also don't fly through the air nearly as often. However, when the film does show a fight with impressive stunts, the fight is also a lot shorter, pointing to it being a budgetary constraint rather than a creative skill issue. Knowing that they couldn't do everything, the filmmakers then had to make a choice. Lighting, cinematography, set design, costume, some of these have to be sacrificed. So, they decided to trust the choreography and the capabilities of the kung fu stars. They believe that good action speaks for itself, and are inclined to agree. As a result, we get a much less fanciful but also much more raw look at the actor's performance. When there is some stiffness in the action, the flaws are on full display. But when it gets good, it also gets really impressive. The starring actor Dennis To is Hong Kong's youngest wushu champion. Opposite him is Louis Fan, a seasoned kung fu star. We are seeing 2 capable martial artists putting on a show, with no fancy camera moves, completely unfiltered. And the body movement of these actors are impressive indeed. Because the core of the action is good, the movie may look low budget, but it doesn't feel cheap. Way better than a cash-in has any right to be. With a serviceable story and impressively performed action, this is one more Ip Man movie for the Kung Fu fans. Grab a beer, give it a shot. By the way, after this video, if you want to revisit the Ip Man series, you might have trouble finding all 5 movies in one place. Netflix Hong Kong only has the first 2, South Korea has the last 2, and the spin-off is restricted to Spain and only Spain for some reason. That's why I always use NordVPN. With thousands of servers across the globe, I can change my virtual location with a simple click, allowing me to access geo-restricted content no matter where I am. Now I can see Dave Bautista and Michelle Yeoh starring in the same movie. One account supports up to 6 devices, perfect for travelers with a lot of devices, like me. For NordVPN's 11th birthday, go to nordvpn.com/accentthecinema to get the 2-year plan with an exclusive deal, plus 1 bonus month free and a bonus gift. With a 30-day money-back guarantee policy, it's entirely risk-free. So why not expand your access to the internet and give NordVPN a try today? Next up, Ip Man Kung Fu Master, released in 2019. Dennis To reprises the role, but this production has no relation to Legend is Born. For one thing, it looks a million times better. In fact, it looks downright impressive at times. Hard to believe this is a web movie. In the film, Ip Man is a police officer who grows disillusioned in the justice system in the face of a Japanese invasion. So Ip Man becomes a vigilante to right what the law cannot. The premise actually sounds cooler than it is, but the crime thriller edge is a core part of the film's identity. Being a Chinese streaming release, this movie likely didn't have a large budget either. Chairs and tables rarely get broken. Handheld cam and flat angles are also prevalent. The low budget is compounded by the fact that outside of Dennis To and one other actor, no one else has any martial arts experience. As a result, the choreography is pretty sluggish, and it gets chopped to pieces by the editor. Yet despite all that, it feels better than it actually is. The reason this film can get away with less impressive action is because it is not a kung fu movie. It is a crime thriller. It sells you the thrill of the drama instead of Wing Chun action. For example, we see 2 assassins trying to kill Ip Man's wife. Ip Man's teacher intercepts them. We then cut to a parallel action, Ip Man being held hostage. Tension is high. Once that crisis is resolved, we come back and the 2 assassins are already dead. There's still heightened drama, but the action is only implied. And since the static shot of the hostage situation is a lot easier to film, the movie also looks a lot better. That's not to say the film doesn't have good actions. The film opens with a 1-on-100 fight in which Ip Man fights through the Axe Gang to arrest their leader. Here, the action is actually well presented, but even then, the film still cuts away from the action to show the gang leader about to murder some dude. Almost all fights in this movie have some parallel drama to it. Fighting in the rain to stop an execution, protecting his wife while she's giving birth. The suspense and drama always supersede the action. Sadly, drama is where this film falters a bit. You don't feel the love between Ip Man and his wife, nor does Ip Man ever feel threatened, desperate, or even confident. He really is a wooden dummy. Without his emotion, the tension gets deflated. It's still a decent time, it has good ideas, just not so well executed. I saved the best for last. Released in 2013, Ip Man The Final Fight was made by the same creative team from Legend is Born, except this is a completely different movie. Despite its cheesy title, this is actually a biographical film. The Final Fight sticks much closer to the actual life of Ip Man, depicting him as a human, wise but flawed, living a mundane but meaningful life. It shows Ip Man as remembered by his son and pupils, a stubborn and introverted old man who, in fact, did not think very highly of Bruce Lee.
師傅， 唔使啦，我鍾意行。
Hong Kong acting legend Anthony Wong brings some much-needed humanity to Ip Man beyond the action hero archetype. This timid expression when he says he is hungry is instantly memorable. And what does he eat? Rice mixed with soy sauce. So much information with so little action. Since this movie is a biography, the film prioritized acting over martial arts. Anthony Wong may be an acting master, Kung Fu he does not. Veteran choreographer Nicky Lee, who worked on SPL2 and Raging Fire, created some amazing sequences taking into account each actor's capability. But you can tell how much the footage has been sped up. Even then, it lacks power. However, I cannot begin to tell you how little that matters. You know what the filmmaker didn't do? Settle with using only stunt doubles. As much as possible, the actors perform the fights themselves, even if it's to the detriment of the action and for good reasons. In this biography, action is secondary to the characters. Going back to the fight we just saw.
出咗張報紙當你贏。
This fight isn't about the thrill of it. It is about Ip Man, the character, his proficiency, confidence. And because Anthony Wong is doing it, you also see how much joy he takes from fighting. This is the beauty of this film. The action always offers some insight into the characters. We see Ip Man being challenged, the two spar for a bit, and the moment they get heated, they stop. There are no wins and losses. It's not even a draw, they just have enough. The film and the characters all understand that victory isn't what is important. Kung Fu to him is a conversation. This is one movie where Ip Man is just as interesting even outside of fights. Here is my favorite scene. After a long period of separation from his wife, the two finally can share a bed together. They simply do nothing. It's the most interesting non-action I've seen in a long time. Highly recommend it. Of course, none of the directions are mutually exclusive. A fight can simultaneously be dramatic, be thrilling, and build characters. But the real world has constraints, and sometimes you have to make choices. In our video about Ip Man and Superman, I said that a good Superman story should attack his vulnerability instead of challenging his strength. Funnily enough, this also applies to all these Ip Man movies. All three films on some level understands that they cannot possibly compete with the bombastic Donnie Yen action. So, they don't. Instead, they shift their focus elsewhere. A different style of action, a different genre, a different way to tell a story. To me, that's the best kind of Ip Man movie I can ask for. The ones that, despite the great challenge, still refuse to settle with mediocrity and find their own ways to fight.